American
WNMA, Miami Springs, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
A show for people seeking truth
Time
about
the
money
man,
and how
home
to
of the Red
really
Robert Show,
achieve the American dream
7 to 10.
with Cream. During the next hour, you're invited to learn how credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset are essential to helping you achieve the American dream. American dream. American dream. Please join your host, Hyacinth Henderson, for today's episode.
Today is Saturday, April 11, 2020, and if you are still here, congratulations, you made it. You have purpose and passion and a reason that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today. You are tuned in to the American Cream. It feels like I haven't been here in ages. I mean, I pre-recorded a few shows, and before I knew it, here we are. I'm like a newbie back in the studio. Well, if you are living in these times right now, congratulations, you are living in the times of transition. You are living in some of the best days of your life. You can't see it right now, but I promise you, when you look back, you're going to look back and say, oh my gosh, I made it through April of 2020, March of 2020, and let me tell you how far I've become. Let me tell you who I've become. Let me tell you what I learned, and now let me show you what I'm earning. Whew. What a time to be alive. So if you're new to the American Cream is a financial educational radio show. Cream stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. I firmly believe that these are the 5 pillars and foundational topics and subjects that we must have a firm handle and understanding of in order to redefine the American dream on our terms with Cream, because as we see, the American dream can be shifted, shaken, and tested at any given time. And so, we got to take matters into our own hands, and that's what we do on Cream. Now, I know that there is a lot of different energy, a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different conspiracies, just a lot going on right now. And the one thing that I want you to understand, and I want you to believe in your heart, I want you to plant this seed in your mind. And when you plant this seed in your mind, I want you to water it every single day, several times a day. Don't water this seed like I water them plants in my house. I see plants in the store and I'm like, ooh, so pretty. Let me take the plant home. And child is dead in 2 days, right? So I don't want you to water the plant. I don't want you to water this seed that you plant in your mind in the same way that I watered the plants. I want you to water this seed every single day, because we know that if you tend to the plant, tend to the seed, and you water it and you give it sunlight and you sing to it and you talk to it and things like that, then it will grow. It will grow from the energy, attention, the love, and the affection. And so the seed that I want you to plant into your own mind, we aren't having anybody else plant seeds in our minds, because that just doesn't benefit us. Right? If we allow others to plant seeds in our minds, then we are being controlled. We think we're in control, but really somebody else put that seed there, and you're just going on and on with the seed that they planted and how they are watering it. Yes, I am talking about the news, right? So if you're an avid watcher of the news, you think that you're thinking your own thoughts, but you're not, because the news planted those seeds, and the anchors get up all day, every day, and they keep watering that seed and watering that seed, and you wonder why you're stuck in that cycle. Right? I was going to say, you wonder why you stuck on stupid, but you wonder why you stuck on that cycle, because you don't even realize that these seeds have been planted by other people, and other people are tending to it, and the only thing you're doing is cutting on your TV or your cell phone. But this seed, the seed that we are talking about today, you are going to be in charge of this seed. You are planting this seed, and you are in charge of watering it and feeding it and talking to it and having it grow. And that is the seed of hope. That is the seed of faith. You can plant a seed of hope. You can plant a seed of faith. You can plant a seed of understanding everything is going to be okay. You can plant a seed of gratitude. And how do you water these seeds every day? Okay, once you make the decision, right, you're at the seed store, and you're at the seed store and you have a choice. You can plant fear. You can plant doom and gloom. You can plant woe is me, the end of the world is coming. You can plant all types of seeds, but I just gave you a few seeds. I told you could plant hope, gratitude, prosperity. Take your pick. Faith, the one that I recommend that everybody under the sound of my voice start with, is a seed of hope, because that is what you need to understand right now, that you actually can hope for the future. And if you don't hope for the future, if you're just stuck on stupid because you're focusing on right now based on what everybody else is planting in your mind, then by the time the future comes, you're going to be one of those people like, man, that Rona had took me out. Rona, aka coronavirus, right? You're going to be one of those folks that look back and you're like, dog, I couldn't believe that we've been on lockdown or quarantine or whatever you want to call it for 3 months or 2 months, and I haven't done anything. And let me tell you how quickly time will pass. Time will pass so quickly that I was having a conversation with one of my good friends. Shout out to Diana Georges yesterday. Me, Diana, and Dee have started a new Friday night Facebook Live girlfriends wind down chat. We're supposed to have wine, but I'm gonna have to tell them that wine makes me sleepy, so I can't have wine at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. However, Diana said, Hyacinth, do you realize we have been in quarantine for like 30 days? And I said, in 30 days, life has shifted. Life has changed. It seems like, okay, just yesterday, because people are getting up and just, kind of getting their footing and going with the flow. It seems like just yesterday, but it literally has been 30 days. In 30 days, my jeans don't fit anymore. In 30 days, they don't fit anymore. You want to know why? Because in 30 days, I only exercised 2 times in 30 days. And one of those times really doesn't count because it was 2 nights ago when my kids was like, hey, let's go for a run and let's go for a bike ride. And I get suited and booted and I go out there and listen, 10 minutes later, they're like, we're done. So that's really a half of a time of a workout. But in 30 days now, my jeans don't fit. I've been wearing yoga pants and elephant pants all day, every day for the past 30 days. So I'm just sharing that because so you can understand what has shifted. In 30 days, some people haven't been to work. In 30 days, you can change and grow a lot. Listen, them plants that I keep neglecting at home on my kitchen counter, they could have grown and been watered a lot. So I want you to think about how quickly time is passing by as you get up every day and whatever your routine is doing, and then decide from this moment on, from April 11th, you are going to plant a new seed. And when you plant those new seeds, you're going to think back and like, listen, all right, so I plan to be here for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever your number is. And if you have plans to be here for more time, then you can't afford to pick the seeds of fear. You can't afford to pick the seeds of doom and gloom. You have got to pick the seeds that are going to get you to your next destination. You got to plant the seeds and water them and tend to them so that while you're here for the next 30 years, 40 years, or 50 years, or whatever your number is, you can have a beautiful garden full of hope, gratitude, prosperity, abundance, things like that. But if you don't pick and plant and water the appropriate seeds at this time, then when we look up and look back, we're going to wonder why am I in a state of lack right now? Because of the seeds that you planted. So everybody under the sound of my voice, let's make a commitment that we are going to, the first seed that we're going to plant is plant the seed of hope. And what do you need to do with that? You have got to change your behaviors. Run the tapes back. We talked about habits. We talked about behaviors before. Change your behaviors. What does that look like for you? Are you now rolling out of bed and journaling? Are you now rolling out of bed and instead of going on your smart device and turning on the television to be programmed with what's going on around the world, are you now taking up meditation? Are you singing? Are you dancing? What are you doing to water your seed of hope? Are you studying? My good friend Dee Bowden, shout out to Dee Bowden from Collect the Cash. Very, very informative and powerful woman. Listen, she said something yesterday that had me like, I know that most of us have heard that we are the sum total of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with. And I've heard that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't really spend time with, a whole lot of people, but the people that I do spend time with, I can see where I'm the sum total of them, where I pick up their behaviors and things like that and the conversations that we have. Well, yesterday, Ms. Dee Bowden said, we are the sum total of our knowledge, our skills, our abilities, experience, and education. Let me run that back for you again. We are the sum total of our knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, and education. What does that mean for you? That means in quarantine, on lockdown, while we're in this state of transition, what knowledge are you acquiring? What skills are you acquiring or sharpening up? What abilities are you reevaluating or acquiring? What are you doing with your experience and education? What books are you reading? Because that's what we're the sum total of, and that's what your future is going to be a reflection of. Your future tomorrow is a reflection of the things that you do today. The past, the present really is the past, if you think about it. Everything that you're experiencing right now today is a result of something that you did in the past. It's the result of an action that you took or did not take in the past. It's a result of the conversation that you did or did not have in the past. It's the result of a thought that you did or did not think in the past. What you're living right now is a result of the past. And since we know that the present is the past, then what do we need to do to plan for the future? That's kind of profound, isn't it? Right? Write that down. The sum total of your knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, and education. So now when you get up every day and you're planting those seeds of hope and watering those seeds of hope, you need to be thinking about, you need to be focused on these areas: knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, and education. Because let me tell you something, sitting down and watching the news all day is not going to further your future. Sitting down, being on social media all day is not going to further your future. So you got to think about this thing. And let me tell you, listen, the people who have seeds that are being planted and watered by others, you're going to find yourself in a position where we're going to say you're on the losing team. And the people who are planting and watering their own seeds, you're going to find yourself on the winner's team. Now, I wrote an email, and I sent this email out to everybody in the Henderson Financial Group. And I think this was a seed that was planted, right? So this was an email. We sent it out to our entire database. We put it on YouTube, put it on social media and everything like that. And it was a message from Mr. Henderson. I said, you know what, Mr. Henderson, you're the president and CEO. The people love you. Pull out your laptop, get some video on, and let's blast it out. It was well received. Everybody loved it. Great message. He had a very nice, calm, even tone. He was not as excited as I am. I always tell him he's an earth sign and I'm a fire sign. So for me, it sounds like I'm fussing and I'm just discussing. That's all the passion that I bring to it with that fiery energy that I have. But his video was nice and earthy and smoothie. And people commented on, oh my gosh, even tone, how calm and reassuring. So if you haven't looked at his video yet, it's only 10 minutes. Look at it on my YouTube or check your emails if you're a client, right? And so in the body of the email, I said, during this unprecedented time, and I thought about that. I said that because everybody else has been saying that, really and truly, right? But I thought about it, and a lot of people feel like this is a time that we have never seen before. And I started thinking afterwards, and I said, you know what? Although maybe COVID-19 is new, maybe what's going on, the names are new, but we have been here before. If we look back in the history of America, if we look back in the history of our people in our land and your ancestors and your forefathers, if you look back, you will see that in some period in history, the people who have come before you have experienced a major transitionary shift such as this. Y'all pull up the history books. I was sleeping in class, right? And I didn't do my research before the radio show, real life story. In high school, I slept, and then when the teacher told, listen, sir, your daughter is coming to school and sleeping all day, then I started skipping. So I can't rattle off the top of my head the moments in history, but those of you who stayed awake in history class and those of you who are into history, I'm just out getting back into history. I found out that my great-great-grandfather was in the World War I, so I'm now getting back into it. But for those of you who are into that type of thing, this ain't new. That's the point. I said all that to say this ain't new. The characters have changed. The name have changed. You're here. Listen, this is not new. And since we know that this isn't new, we have to think about how far we've come and where we are now. You're like, wait a minute, this ain't new. The people before us, my ancestors, my loved ones, they got through some stuff too. And if they got through some stuff, listen, they got through it without television. They got through it without internet, without social media. People are around here complaining that they can't leave their house if they can stay on the internet and the air conditioner all day. Hold up, wait a minute. The grocery stores are still open. You can go get any food you want. So really, if you really think about it, sure, some things have changed. But what is that change bringing? What does that change mean for you? What does that change mean for the rest of the world? Because I can assure you that things are going to be very different There is going to be a new normal, and I'm saying that to you not to scare you, because listen, baby, honey, plenty of people were complaining about how things were before. Y'all weren't happy with the way the world was going before. And if you weren't happy with it before, you needed some change. You can't dictate how the change is going to take place. Just sit back and recognize that there is some change that is happening so that you can get to the next level, so that you can get to where you want to go. A friend of mine texted me 2 days ago, and he's like, before he had told me that he was furloughed, I think it was last week. And then yesterday he was like, hey, great news, I got laid off. And I said, are you being sarcastic? You know, I need to know these things because I'm pretty sarcastic. He's pretty sarcastic. And we have an interesting sense of humor. But I wasn't sure it was through text. And he was like, duh. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, it's a good thing you have talents and skills and abilities. And now you have nothing but time on your hands to hone in on those skills and abilities and make your own money and be your own boss. So that conversation ended very quickly as it started. It didn't last very long after that. He just gave me a thumbs up on my comment back, and he went on about his day, and I went on about my day. But those of you listening to me, those of you under the sound of my voice, you have talent, skills, and abilities too. You didn't like your job. You didn't like your boss. You didn't like the amount of money they were paying you. They weren't paying you enough. You hated the commute. It was so many things you did not like. And you sat there and you complained about it, and you got down on your knees or looked up at the sky and you prayed to God, Allah, Jesus, or whoever you believe in. And you said, there has to be a better way. This is your better way, sweetheart. This is your time. This is the answer to your prayer. Yep, I'm saying it right here on the radio. Things have to shift so that a new you can be born. Things have to shift because you wouldn't change on your own. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. You were comfortable. You were complaining and comfortable at the same time. How about that? And now, since you were complaining and comfortable at the same time, now we have change going on. When you want to be like, hold up. I want to change, but not like that. No, you're going to get this change like this. You're going to get it how I give it to you. And then let me see what you create out of this environment. Because as humans, we are a natural born creators. If you're a woman, the evidence that you are a natural creator is the fact that you have the ability to give life, to birth life. You have the ability to bring a new whole human. A whole human can grow in your womb and then pass out of your body. If that ain't a creatrix, I don't know what is. So now that we're in this period of change and it's asking us to start to create, I want you to reevaluate your mindset. That M in cream stands for mindset, because really and truly, the difference between whether you survive or whether you thrive during this period of time is all about your mindset. And there are so many different types of mindsets, so many different types of mentalities that people don't even realize what mindset we possess. Do you know what mindset you have? There are a number of them. I wrote down 6 different types of mindset today that I want to go over with you today, because I want you to get your mind right so you can get your money right and you can stop complaining and start changing. That is what this period of time is for. It's not for you to look on the internet all day and be like, oh my gosh, they gonna do this, they gonna do that. We up a creek, we ain't got no paddles. What's gonna happen? That's not why we're here, sir, as my daughter says. And my son's like, stop calling me sir. I don't know if it's sir or sis, but it's something. But that's not why we're here. We are here because we call for this. We call for this, and you can't dictate how it comes. And so since we're here, now we need to be like, all right, let me pick the right seeds, and then let me plant these babies so I can get where I got to go. And that it first starts with your mindset. I was having a conversation with Tavares. Shout out to Tavares in my office. I say he's my assistant. He's so much more than my assistant now. He came in as an assistant, but that man just blew the game out of the water. He's like a part of the family now. He's licensed. I made him a junior advisor. I still say assistant, but please understand this man ain't just my assistant, right? Tavares is a water sign. So Henderson's the earth, he's the water, and I'm the fire. So y'all know I keep it all the way live in that office. I tell them all the time, I'm not worried about getting on y'all nerves. I get on my own nerves. So y'all just got to go with it. But I was having a conversation with him yesterday, and he said, Hyacinth, do you realize that not everybody sees the future? Not everyone plans for the future. And I said to him, you know, Tavares, when we have conversations like this, I sit down and I think about him like, you know what, you're right. But then in the moment, you know, as we go along, I'm like, dang, people not planning, you're not thinking about tomorrow. Where's your foresight? But I'm sharing that story to let you know that mindset is very important. Mindset is going to determine where you are in the future. Don't get caught up in today. It's about 20 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to talk to you about 6 quick mindsets, and you need to decide and determine where you are and where you want to be after this quick break.
Hi, I'm Robert Henderson, Jr., certified financial planner, president of the Henderson Financial Group. And I want to ask a question. Are you planning on retiring soon?
You know, Robert, a lot of people work their entire lives with that goal in mind. And if you're planning on retiring, especially within the next 3 years, you absolutely have to give us a call at the Henderson Financial Group. We have so many retirement strategies, especially as an independent financial planning firm, that will fit your specific retirement goals and objectives.
And I'm glad you said that, because retirement planning is totally different from investment planning. And you know, Linda, a lot of people get that mixed up, because most people, when they're getting ready to retire, they probably just put their money with some retirement firm, with some investment house, and they just put the money there and they want to make it grow. But that's not retirement planning. You know, when you come to us, we help you decide and we educate you on whether you should take a lump sum distribution or receive scheduled monthly payments.
Absolutely. We can give you the tools and the information to help you navigate and make the best choices for you and your family specifically.
So remember, retirement planning is totally different from investment planning. If you need more information, please call us at the Henderson Financial Group. Call today at 305-825-1444.
Hi, I'm Linda V. Harris, Vice President of the Henderson Financial Group, and I want to share a story with you. Now, this is not my story. I did not make it up. It is coming directly from the National Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I want to talk about what's going to happen to 100 of us by the age of 65. Now, 29 of us will be dead and 71 of us will still be alive. Of the 71 of us that are still living, we're comprised of the following. 52 of us are directly dependent upon the government. And if we're not dependent upon the government, it simply means we've given up and we're homeless or living on the streets, okay? 14 of us are still working, and we always will be, because we don't have any family at all. So we will continue to work until we die. 3 of us will be financially independent. And when I say financially independent, I mean we don't need any support from anyone. It means our wealth grows and will continue to grow as we receive comfortable income from our assets. The remaining 2 of us will become wealthy. And what I mean by wealthy is it's defined as a net worth of at least $5 million plus. The question is, where do you fit in this story? If you want to be part of the 5% and not the 95%, give us a call at the Henderson Financial Group, 305-825-1444, and tell us you want to talk about the 100-man story.
Welcome to the American Cream Show, providing you insight on how to achieve the American dream with cream. Credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. And now, here's your host of the American Cream, Hyacinth Henderson.
Welcome back. Alrighty. Today, again, is April 11th. We're talking about mindset. We're talking about the period of change and transition and you being the creator that you were born to be. All right, so we're going to go into mindset. I have a special guest calling in today, Larissa Humphrey from Abundant Tax Returns. She's going to be joining me at 6:40. We're going to talk about all things stimulus and money and how you can get some of the government's money, because you know they don't really give it back most of the time. But here they are giving away money. So she's going to talk to you and break that down on how you can apply and actually receive it. Not just apply, but actually receive the money that you apply for during these times of transition and change, right? So that means I got about 16 minutes to make this quick, and y'all know I'm long-winded. So we're going to talk about mindset. Okay, so boom. You are picking the seeds that you are going to plant in your mind so that you can be in control of the way your garden looks in the future. You are no longer allowing other people, the news, the media, your friends, your family, your broke best friend, to plant the seeds in your mind and water them and then look around and wonder why you got all these weeds and flowers you don't like. You're taking charge of your own life. And we're going to go on to mindset. All right, so there's several different types of mindset. Most people don't even realize that you have a specific type of mindset. So we are going to go over a few of them. I think I wrote down about 6, And the purpose of this conversation is to get your juices flowing, to ask you to be aware that there are different types of mindset, and then ultimately for you to really do some self-reflection and evaluation and say, wait a minute. Was Hyacinth talking to me? Did she step on my toes when she talked about that lazy mindset? All right, so the first one is a growth mindset. People who have a growth mindset love challenges. They love bettering themselves. They are constantly shifting and growing and changing. You have a growth mindset. The people around you have a growth mindset if they're always learning, seeking more. They're always desiring or on a quest to grow, to be better than they were before. My father used to say to me, good, better, best. Never let them rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. So people with the growth mindset, they don't say things like, this how we always done it. Oh, we always did it like this. If someone says that to you, you already know that they don't have a growth mindset. Someone with the growth mindset will say, well, that's how it was done in the past, or that's how it's generally or traditionally been done, but I'm open to doing it this way, or I have done research, or I have found a new way to do things. And so a growth mindset is going to be one of those mindsets that's going to constantly keep you growing and changing and evolving. And if you recognize someone that has a growth mindset and you don't have a growth mindset, please get out of their way, right? This is a personal comment right here. Like, if you're not growing, we can't do this. I know I'm cute and I cook well and we had a good time that one time last year. But if you're not growing, what are we doing? You're still talking about last year and it's 2020, April 11th, right? So that's a growth mindset. Do you have a growth mindset? Do the people around you have a growth mindset? Do your children have growth mindsets? Talk about the babies, because if you recognize that your child has a growth mindset, and you may look at it as them challenging you. You may look at it as them always wanting more and wanting to do differently from the way that you do things, but recognize and assess that if they have a growth mindset, then you as a parent, your responsibility is not to just dress them up and put them on the internet, honey. Your responsibility is to feed their spirit, feed their mindset, is to pour into them so that they can continue to grow. So if you have a child with a growth mindset who loves challenges and constantly shifting and bettering themselves, you may be getting them things like puzzles. You may be enrolling them in different classes and different things because they have a growth mindset and you want to feed that mindset. You want to pour into that. The next one up is the fear mindset. Fear mindset. So now here's the thing. The fear mindset can be a trickster. People don't even realize they got a fear mindset. All they know is they're just focused on what they don't want to happen. So if people with the fear mindset are focused and consumed by the fear of what could go wrong. And this leads to a dull life, a fear mindset. Let me tell you, yesterday I was in Costco, right? So I went to Costco, so make it quick because I know I got Larissa coming in on 12 minutes, all right? So I went to Costco because Costco got these king crab legs and these big jumbo lobsters. And, the day that the county, our city in Miami went on lockdown, Fort Lauderdale, the mayor, whatever the people called in Fort Lauderdale, they said we closing restaurants. I had a reservation at True Lux, and a lady called me from True Lux and said, ma'am, we got to cancel your reservation. So that was about a month ago, and I've been wanting some good seafood since. So I said, okay, let me go to Costco and get my king crab legs and lobster, and I'm gonna have to cook it myself since the restaurants are on lockdown. Boom. I go in Costco's, they didn't have the king crab legs and lobster, but while I'm there, I'm like, okay, there's a long line outside. They made me put on the mask to get in here. I guess I might as well be a regular human being and buy the other things that the people in here are buying. So I'm like, wait a minute, we're low on toilet tissue at the office. Let me get some toilet tissue and some water. Child, they were out of toilet tissue. By the time I went to the seafood department and realized they didn't have the king crab legs and lobster, all the toilet tissue was gone. So it seems like everybody else in line, they had a different mindset. They knew they were coming in there for toilet tissue, so they went to the tissue first. So now I'm walking around the store without my king crab legs and lobster and no toilet tissue, and I'm seeing everyone with tissue. So I get to the line, I'm like, all right, y'all, God, ancestors, somebody, y'all come through, because we low on tissue, and that's really what I should have been here for. And long story short, I get to the register, and they have go backs, and there's like some tissue off to the side. And I'm like, oh, is that someone's tissue? And the cashier's like, no, that's a go back. I said, good, can I take it? Yes. Boom. So I get that. And while I'm doing that, this lady next to me, I don't know what brand, it was some off-brand tissue that was a go back, but when you loan tissue, you don't be picky and choosy about the brand. So I paid for the go back. However, before that, it was a lady next to me. She had a brand name toilet tissue, and I asked her for it because I saw that she was having some issues with her card, and she kind of ignored me. But I was like, all right, God gonna work this out. Anyway, so I got my off-brand tissue, and lo and behold, I'm getting ready. As soon as I'm pushing my buggy out, I see the lady with the brand name tissue. The supervisor was like, no, lady, that's not getting no play. You gotta leave this here. So I go up to the supervisor, and I'm like, listen, is she gonna take this? She's like, no, you can have it. You're welcome. This worked out for you. So I go back to my cashier and I'm like, can you ring this up? No, because it's only one tissue per person. Sir, and behind me, you don't have tissue. Can you get this? Yes, I'll get the tissue. Okay. I pay for the tissue. This man and the lady's like, well, the cashier's like, I have to put the tissue in his buggy because I'm going to get in trouble because we're not supposed to do that. And we're not supposed to do that. They have cameras here watching and all this fearful stuff. And I'm like, Lord, please shut her mouth right now today. She just keep talking. I just want these tissues. I need tissue for the house and tissue for the office. So she's like, I got to put it in his buggy and I have to hand him the receipt. Okay, boom. They put the tissue in the buggy. As soon as they put the tissue in the buggy, this man tells me, all right, be safe out there. And he walks clean off. I'm like, you know what? This is not what we're going to do today. So he walks off and he walks in the opposite direction from the door. And he's just walking and walking. And so now the cashier and the cashier assistant, they looking at me. I'm looking at them. And I'm like, I told you to put that tissue in my buggy. Now I got to deal with this. He walks off and he goes, and I said to them, is there a place down there that they can get out? And they says, no, the only thing down there is the bathroom. So I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe he forgot that he had my tissue in his buggy and he's just going to use the bathroom. It shouldn't take him that long. Long story short, 20 minutes later, I'm still standing outside the bathroom. He's still in the bathroom. I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. You know, God didn't put me on this planet to be played with. So let me come up and get my tissue out of this man's buggy. So I go over, I get my tissue out of his buggy. I put it in my buggy. So now I have 2 things of tissue. And with my 2 things of tissue, I go back over to the cashier and I'm like, oh, I need the receipt. And she's like, no, I can't give you the receipt. I told you I'm going to get in trouble. We're going to get in trouble. We're not supposed to do this. And I'm like, lady, give me my receipt. I got to go. I don't have time for this. I'm going to get in trouble. I said, have some faith, right? And so Tafara said, oh, you were strong and wrong. You told the lady have some faith. I said, yes. I said, listen, you're not going to get in trouble. Have some faith. And so she gave me my receipt. And as I walked to the door, I had 2 options. I can go to the man who I know worked at Costco for years and chance that he would recognize me and let me slide. Or I can go to the man who looks like he just started working at Costco last night and they needed some help, so they hired him. I went to the man who looked like he just started working at Costco last night. I showed him my receipt. He did not even mark it with the yellow highlighter, and I walked out in under 15 seconds. I wanted to look back at her and do the peace sign, but I figured, you know what, count your blessings, Hyacinth, just get out of here with your 2 things of tissue when the limit was 1 per person. But a fear mindset. She was full of fear. Yes, I know. She said, you know, she wasn't supposed to do that. She was going to lose her job and stuff like that. But it didn't happen. I told her to have some faith, and she had some faith. So a fear mindset will have you focused and consumed by the fear of what could go wrong. Do you have a fear mindset? Are you limiting yourself? Are you missing out on opportunities and circumstances and things like that because you're like, nah, I would do it, but it might work out like this. But what if this happens? If a fear mindset is consuming you, you will be able to know because you are limiting yourself. You're always thinking about what's going wrong. Okay, so we went through growth, fear. Now let's move into the lazy mindset. Tell the truth. Listen, okay? A lazy mindset is a poor mindset. If you're lazy, you're poor. I'm just going to say it like that. And remember, I told you a long time ago, poor means passing over opportunities repeatedly. So if you're lazy, you are certainly passing over opportunities repeatedly. I tell people around me all the time, being bored is a broke people sport. If you use the lips on your face to open the hole in your mouth and say you are bored, then your bank account reflects your boredom. Because there are so many things to be doing. You don't have to always be working, but you can be doing a hobby. You can be reading. You can be learning. You can be fixing something. You can be decluttering. There is so many things for you to do other than being bored. And I know which some of you are thinking, Hyacinth, you can't always be in motion. Well, you can do self-care. What does that self-care look like? Reading, journaling, bike riding. That's different from being bored. Being bored is just sitting around and just like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do. You mean to tell me in this whole wide world you don't have nothing to do? Being lazy, being bored is a broke people sport. So before you fix your lips to say you're bored, think about what you're saying, because I'm sure there are things that you can do. Laziness is a mindset. It's a way of a life. So if you're one of those people who refuse to do certain things, you'd rather just sit around all day, then ask yourself, do I really lack time or do I lack discipline? Am I not being productive? What am I doing with your days? Take an assessment of what you're doing with your days. Take an assessment with how you're using your 24 hours in a day. If there's 24 hours in a day and you aren't accomplishing much of anything, then you got to ask yourself, do I have a lazy mindset? Am I just laying around all day? And sometimes you want to take a day off, right? You want to take some hours off, but this can't be a way of life. It can't be a mindset. You'll know if you have a lazy mindset. You know if I'm stepping on your toes right now. Fourth mindset is the dreamer. The dreamer believes that anything is possible. I love this mindset. I believe that I have some qualities of a dreamer mindset. I believe that I have multiple different types of mentalities and mindsets, but the dreamer is one that I firmly relate to. That means anything is possible. We can come up with an incredible vision for the future. I just told you at the start of this show that the seed that you're planting today is the seed of hope and faith, because we are living in a time where you get to create your next chapter. You're creating your next chapter right now, here today. And so the dreamer says, listen, anything is possible. As dreamers, we think big. We know what we want and know how much you can achieve. I was having a conversation with Tavares earlier this week. Tavares from my office. Remember, Tavares is the water sign, Henderson's the earth sign, and I'm the fire sign. Y'all know who keeps it all the way live at the office. So having a conversation with Tavares, and I said, you know what? I really wish that people would understand how much power they had, that the world is literally in their hands. Once you realize that you are so powerful that the choices, you have the opportunity to make choices, to dream big or not, your life will change. Once you realize that you can make a choice to do this or a choice to do that, a choice to read this or a choice to read that, a choice to do this or a choice to, once you realize the power of your choices, the power in choosing, then you will become a dreamer as well. You will say, you know what? I can do all of this. Ain't nobody stopping me but me. Ain't nobody stopping me but my bed or my couch, my decision to get in the bed, my decision to lay on the couch. Once you realize how powerful you are, you will change your life. You will change your life. That is powerful. Listen, we all have the ability to make choices. If you think about it, every move you make and every action you take is you deciding, you making a choice. And so as dreamers, we believe we can do anything, everything we want to do. Listen, rejection is redirection and protection. It's not, oh man, they rejected me, so it doesn't work. Okay, I just can't do it with you. Or I'm just not going to do it in this environment. But since I have the vision and I'm a dreamer, I know that it can be done. So analyze and ask yourself, do you have a dreamer mindset? Very important. Very, very important. 2 minutes till Larissa comes on. All right. So then we're going to talk about the creative mindset. This is another one that I love and I relate to. Listen, if you have the ability to create, if you have the ability to receive downloads or different ideas. I was having a conversation with a young man yesterday. I'm very proud of him. He is born in 1989. So that makes him 30? Yeah, 30. 2000. Yeah. So he's 30. He's 30 years old. I guess he'll be 31 this year. Very, very proud of him. And he said in conversation, I got all these ideas, Hyacinth. I just got all these ideas. And, and I said, listen, I feel like you're about to talk about your ideas in a negative manner. And I want to tell you and reaffirm and reassure you that you having ideas is a beautiful thing, because there are plenty of people who don't have a lot of ideas. There are plenty of people who are sitting on the side of the road and they wish they can get an idea. They wish they can get a new thought. So if you have ideas and you have the ability to if you can tune in to your creativity, and if you recognize that you have a creative mindset, that's golden. That is the ability to produce unique ideas. You are a natural problem solver. That is golden. Yes, we are all creatives. No, not everyone is tuned in to their creative side and their creative ability. So if you are one of those people who are, act on your creative ideas. Oftentimes people like, yo, I wish I could talk to God. I wish God would just like give me the blueprint and tell me what it is. Listen, good ideas are conversations from God. That's a download. I call them downloads. When you get a download, you get an idea and you're like, oh, this just popped in my head. Boom, that's God speaking. Boom, that's your download for the day. Now, what you do with it is up to you. Are you going to take it and run with it? Or are you going to be like, oh, I just had this idea and I'm just taking it for granted that everybody's getting these ideas? No, that's not so. The creative mindset, that's a very unique mindset. The ability to produce new, unique ideas. Not everybody can do this. Then we have the follower mindset. We talked about this earlier in the show. I didn't tell you it was the follower mindset, but it is the follower mindset. The follower mindset means you allow others to decide and you really don't have control over your life, but you think you do. Are you a follower and you don't even realize it? Are you a follower? Do you have a follower mindset? Whereas this is how it's always been done. This is what they told us we have to do. This is how we have to do this. I got to watch the news. I have to do what they said do. I have to live the American dream the way that they said live it, and then still wonder why I'm 60, 70 years old and still broke, busted, and disgusted. That's a follower mindset. The American Cream busts open a follower mindset. We bust it wide open over here at the American Cream. If you know me, you know that. Listen, I'm not following the herd. I'm not going to the house to get slaughtered. So if you have a follower mindset, I want you to be careful and ask yourself, are you doing things because you really thought about it and you thought logically and you assessed that thing from all angles? Were you a forward thinker? Did you look at it from different angles? Or are you just doing what you're told to do? Right? So that's a good way for you to assess. And like, really, if you sit back and think about it, take a step back and think about it. Ask yourself, does this make sense? And if you realize this don't make no kind of sense, then you might have to realize that you may have a follower mindset. So those are the mindsets that I wanted to talk about today. I feel like I'm rushed, but it's for a good reason because y'all know I could talk all day. So we're getting ready to pull in Larissa Humphreys from Abundant Tax Returns. Larissa, are you there?
I am here. Good morning, Hyacinth.
Hey. Thank you for waking up and rocking and rolling with me today. What is good? Tell me something good, Larissa.
What is good is you about to get some money from the government.
Yes, money, honey. It's all about the money. We love that money, honey. So tell now, Larissa, for those of you who are listening, Larissa is the president, founder, and CEO of Abundant Tax Returns. They are more than just a tax preparer at Abundant Tax Returns. First of all, they're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, but they serve clients all over the world. That's the world, not the country, but the world, and have a beautiful office in Atlanta and a full staff. They don't just prepare tax returns. They do tax coaching. They do tax planning, which is very important. They do business plan. Like if you're making some real money or if you have plans to make some real money and you don't want to give the government all your money, Larissa and her good team at the Abundant Tax Returns, they're your people, they're your folks. But today, Larissa is going to talk about this stimulus package. Listen, people are talking about they're applying for money, but are they really getting the money, Larissa?
Well, on the personal side, the individuals, as long as you filed a 2018 tax return and your income is under $75,000, then you would be eligible for $1,200 if you're single, $2,400 if you're married filing joint. And if you're head of household, you get $1,200 plus $500 for each of your dependents under 17. So the same goes for the other filing statuses on the dependents. You get an extra $500 for each one under 17. Now, they will base that on either your 2018 return or your 2019 tax return if you filed that already. But I know not too many people have since they've extended all the deadlines. So hopefully you filed 2018 so you don't have to worry about that one.
Okay.
issue,
Go ahead.
the issue comes in with the business loans. Now, the government, the SBA, is sponsoring loans for small businesses. There are two different loans. One is a paycheck protection program, which would give you 2.5 times your monthly payroll as a loan amount. And that one is pretty much unavailable at this time.
Wait a minute. What do you mean it's unavailable? Why is it unavailable? Then they just wait. We still in quarantine, ain't it? How is it unavailable? What?
Yeah, that's how this has been going. I have been monitoring and investigating this stimulus program since it started about almost a month ago. And I can tell you that SBA website changed every day last week. So, now let me see, maybe 2 weeks ago, I applied for that paycheck protection loan because my staff was like, well, if you go ahead and do it, then we can explain to everybody how it works. I said, okay.
And truly, it only makes sense because as you were speaking about the $1,200 and $2,400 and the income, I'm like, wait a minute. So if you make more than $75,000, and then I know that it starts phasing out up to $99,000, then they're not giving you any money. So I said, but wait a minute. Then I guess are they assuming that if you're making over $99,000, you own some type of business? And so is that where the SBA comes in?
No, it's not. They think you don't need any money if you're making over $99,000. I know they really need money, but
exactly.
Okay. So with this paycheck protection plan, you used to be able to go onto the SBA website, click a link, and go through the loan application, but it's no longer there. All you can do is download an application. So that means the banks have put that on hold. And I was like, oh, my God. So one of my banks sent me an email and said, okay, we want you to go ahead and apply for the paycheck protection plan. I was like, what? I thought I had already applied. I thought when I went through that thing on the SBA website, I was applying for the loan. Oh, no. Because what I finally realized is I hadn't given them any pertinent, vital, personal information. I had not submitted my driver's license. I had not submitted my payroll record. So what did they have to base any kind of loan on other than just my basic information about, my business and all that stuff? So here's the problem most people are having. They think they've applied for a loan, but all they've done is fill out a contact sheet. Because before my bank actually contacted me, I was contacted by 3 other lending institutions, not banks, but lending institutions saying, hey, do you want to apply for this loan? And I was like, I don't know them. So I did a little research to see who they were. I saw lots of bad reviews saying they were not even SBA approved, and SBA preferred, and it has to be a SBA preferred lending institution before the SBA will guarantee that money, and it can become a grant if you spend it the right way.
So listen, it sounds like they just collecting people information on the internet.
Yep.
Okay, so they're collecting the information and then giving it to third parties?
Yeah, it looks like there's a list of all the people who are interested in applying for the loans that goes out to all these lending institutions, and they can contact you at their leisure. Because one guy called the office, and I said, who is that? And then I got emails from 2 other places, and then I'll start looking them up. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. I don't want to have a loan with them. Okay, so here's the mistake that I made. I didn't take that information to the bank. And the SBA website doesn't say take it to the bank. It just You fill out that information, you think you've applied. Okay, well, because I'm in this business, I have clients asking me questions, so I start, going around to especially the two banks that I mainly bank with to ask what's going on. And that's when I was able to submit my name and email to both of those banks, and they said, okay, now one said, no, we're done accepting applications for now. We'll contact you later. And the other one said, okay, you can go ahead and apply, and ask me for my driver's license, my payroll records, information about whether my business is valid or not. So now I feel like I actually applied for a loan because they got some information.
So what can people do? What do you recommend? So since you went through this, you figured it out, and I'm so glad you jumped on this real quick, Larissa. I don't know that you had this thought when you did, but you jumped on there. Now you can educate others and teach them how to do it appropriately so they can actually just not apply. And really, it's not even applying. They can stop sending out their information and start applying, and then ultimately receive the funds that can help their businesses during this time of need. So what's the solution? What do we do about this? How can we learn more? What's up?
Well, I am hosting a seminar. We call it a webinar now because we're Zooming everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Today at 3 p.m., I'm hosting a webinar where I'm going to talk about all of the SBA alternatives that are available out there. So if you would just come to my website, abundantreturns.com, that's the returns with the S because you want a lot of abundant returns, see. Go to abundantreturns.com and scroll down. There's a link there that says webinar, coronavirus webinar, something to that effect. But it says today at 3 p.m. If you click that link, that'll take you right into the webinar. So it starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I will also be available to take questions during that time. So if you have questions about any of this stimulus money that is available to you, please come to the webinar, ask me your questions, and I would love to help you out.
Awesome. Now, is there a cost for the webinar?
No, it's free.
Ooh, free 99.
What?
Free. It's free 99.
Free 99. Okay. No, it is free. Now, my team and I are going to be available to help people with the stimulus loan packages because we are accountants and we can help people get their loan packages together because it's not just about applying, it's about making sure you present the best financial picture so you can get the most money that you can get. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people are like, oh, I could do it myself. It's so easy because, your president keeps saying it's so easy. Let me tell you a secret. Have you ever applied for a loan? You're still applying for a loan. Mm-hmm. I had one guy call and saying, well, I have a business that didn't make any money. Can I apply for a loan? I said, would you loan money to somebody
who ain't making no money? How you going to pay it back?
You know what he said? Well, it's supposed to be forgivable. I said, initially, it's a loan because you may have to pay it back. So you have to meet that loan criteria. So you want to make sure you present the best picture so you can get the most money. And that's what we're here for at Abundant Return.
Awesome. I love it. Listen, go to her website. That's www.abundantreturns.com. The webinar is free. Zoom. I know we've been Zooming all week, but Zoom in on this today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Get some information because I just told you that we are the sum total of our knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, and education. So tune into this webinar so that you can get some education and turn that education into knowledge, and then also apply and hopefully, if you do it right, receive the money as well. So thank you so much, Larissa, for tuning in and dropping that nugget for us today. I know that there's a lot of information and sometimes people just don't know where to go or who to call. Speaking of call, what is your telephone number? I know we gave them the website, but for those of us who are old school and play by the old rules, they may want to pick up the phone and give you a call. What's that number?
It's 770-451-6330.
6330. Okay, that's area code 770-451-6330. All right, thank you so much, Elle. I'm going to let you get prepared for your 3 o'clock webinar, and we will catch up soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
All righty.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
All righty. So that was some great information. I advise you, regardless if you have a business today, you may have one tomorrow. You may know someone that has a business. A free webinar. You can sit in the comfort in your home, still in your pajamas if you want to, and listen to this webinar about this SBA, these small business loans. So speaking of stimulus and things that are going on, I'm going to really quickly, because I only got about 2 minutes left before I have to get out of here. Did you know that the government, your government, is waiving RMDs for 2020? What is an RMD? If you have an IRA or an other qualified account, the government says that by the time you are over, you turn 70 and a half, you have to start taking required minimum distributions because they want some of that money in taxes. They want you to pay taxes. Well, now, because of the current state of the world that we live in, they are waiving RMDs for 2020. So if you are over 70 and a half, if you know a loved one, your mama, grandmama, aunties, cousins, granddaddy, and they say that they have qualified retirement accounts, they do not have to take an RMD. No required minimum distribution for 2020. That is waived for all people in 2020 who would have otherwise had an RMD. The second thing that the government is doing during this time for IRAs is they're waiving the early withdrawal penalty if you are under 59 and a half. So traditionally, if you're under 59 and a half, you got to pay a penalty for taking your money out. There are some criteria and stipulations to see if you qualify for it to be waived, but they are waiving that. That's a big deal. That's 10% of money that would otherwise you'd have to just give to the government. And they're saying, we'll need your money right now, right? Okay, and the third point is you can take out up to $100,000 out of your retirement account and spread that income over 3 years. So traditionally, if you take money out of your retirement account, out of your IRA, you have to report that as income in 1 year. And a lot of times that will make your income amount go up and it'll raise your tax bracket. What they're saying is you don't got to do that this year. You can spread it over 2020, 2021, and 2022. We are at 6:57. I'm going to do a quick wrap up. Catch me on the podcast, The American Cream. That's wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Cream with a C. On YouTube, Hyacinth Henderson. That's HYACINTH. Henderson on YouTube. And if you're old school and play by the old rules, give me a call at the office, 305-825-1444. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. I am rooting for you. I believe that the best is yet to come. And I know for certain that those of you under the sound of my voice are going to do what you need to do so that you can be in control of your own garden and plant those seeds that will bloom and blossom into beautiful flowers in the future. Until next week, peace.
You've been listening to the American Cream Podcast, the #1 audio production show for people who want to achieve the American dream with cream. Love this episode of the American Cream? Head over to your favorite podcast platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. For free resources and materials, go to theamericancreampodcast.com.